It's time to push for the finish as the fall season nears the end. It's an exciting time and everyone is ready for their time in the spotlight. We're taking you down to the very end, so get set. A killer sports night starts now. Hello everyone, welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young. Howie Shapiro feeling a little bit under the weather, so I'm flying solo, but this is a good time to do it. Of course, last week, the shortened week for schools around the state of Minnesota for the MEA conferences, and because of that and because the fall season coming to a close all the way around for the regular season, just 3 varsity sports in action, 3 varsity events, and we have all 3 to highlight here for you on Sports Night, which should be a very exciting week ahead as we look toward the section tournaments for a couple of those teams. We'll start with the football team. They secured a high seed and a first-round bye in that section tournament by finding a way to win a really weird game last Wednesday. The Cardinals were heavily favored going into the regular season finale against the 1-6 Hopkins Royals. Coon Rapids needed to get back to what was working earlier in the season and take control of the game right away. But no one could have predicted how this one went and how important the third team on the field would turn out to be. Referees made a number of questionable and flat-out bad calls. The first one goes in the Cardinals' favor, though. Hopkins' first possession should be a sack by Tyler George, but they ruled that Klecker got the ball away. It's picked off by sophomore Ryan Garlick, returned 31 yards for the score. Came back, though, on an illegal block. Cardinals still take advantage. 2 plays later, Jalen Salazar gets a good hole off the right side, sprints to the end zone to get Coon Rapids on the board first. Another bounce that goes in the Cardinals' favor comes on 3rd and 5, and Holson completes to Caleb Ness over the middle. He's fighting for extra yards. When the ball comes out, it hops right to Dominic Jones, who scoops it up at full speed, races 56 yards for the score, and the Cardinals have a 14-0 lead just 1 play into the second quarter. Back to the bad calls. Watch this play coming up. Van Holsen is going to get sacked, and he is going to get stripped on 3rd and long. R.J. Chacolas comes in and digs the ball free, stands up, and returns it 25 yards for the score. Somehow, the referees missed that he went to both knees and should have been down, so they let the touchdown stand. Cardinals blocked the extra point, but the Royals had a late field goal, so it's 14-9. The Cardinals in the third, more problems securing the ball. This time Salazar coughs it up. Ball spring squirts out to Anthony Jennings. He scoops and scores. Second defensive TD gives Hopkins a 17-14 lead. We can't show all the questionable calls in this one, but here's one they make right. Jaden Washington trying to switch direction, fumbles for Hopkins. Clear recovery by Matt Ammon. The weird part is that this call got more discussion than the earlier one that was completely blown that allowed the Royals a touchdown. But after a meeting of the minds, they did determine it was Cardinals' ball. They weren't able to convert on that turnover, but they do find a way to get back on top early in the fourth quarter. Miles Taylor running left on 3rd and 5, 3 from the 5, gets to the stripe. Cardinals defense makes it stand from there. There's a sack for Tyler George. Defense played really, really big. They allowed just 3 points for the offense of Hopkins, and the Cardinals finish the season with a 5-3 record with the 21-17 win. Now, normally I try not to highlight when officials make mistakes, but in this one it was hard to overlook because it became a part of the game, especially by letting a bad call turn into points on the board. But there were a number of these calls, and there was one time during the game where Mal Edwards was out discussing with the head referee a call that was made, and while he was out on the field talking to the referee, his back to the play, they let the ball snap and they let a play go. Now, the referee did eventually make that play come back, but bottom line was, at the end of this game, I got a number of texts, phone calls, and people just talking about it throughout the community about how bad the officiating was. So I thought we should absolutely address it. Hopefully the officiating gets better from here on out, because now the games are that much more important. Football team ends at 5-3. They finish in second place in the Suburban Blue, their first year at the 5A level, behind Armstrong, who finished 3-0, also 5-3. But the big key is the 5-3 does secure the Cardinals a number 2 seed in the section tournament. So they do get a bye in the first round. There's 6 teams in the Section 7 5A football bracket. The Cardinals, number 2, and Andover, number 1, get the byes, so they await the winners of the 2 quarterfinal games. The quarterfinal games will be played on Tuesday, and the Cardinals will get the winner of number 3, Duluth East, and number 6, St. Francis. That game will be at home on Saturday at 3 o'clock. We cannot show that to you live due to MSHSL rules, so please come out and support your Cardinals on Saturday, then go home and watch it. We hope to have the rebroadcast up for you by 8 o'clock. I, unfortunately, will not be there, so I will be waiting to see what happened as well. Cambridge Isani, the number 4 seed, faces number 5 seed Chisago Lakes on Tuesday. The winner of that one goes to Andover. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. The Cardinals will get past that semifinal round, and we'll be looking at a section championship next week. Hopefully a matchup with Andover could be very exciting. But as we talked about during the game, Howie and I, the Cardinals will still have to play much better than they have the last 3 weeks if they hope to get past that first section game. They've had a lot of success. It's been a fun season, but they really need to get back to what was working for them during their 4-game win streak if they hope to make it to that section championship. And again, we'll have that action for you here, rebroadcast by 8 o'clock on Saturday night. Brian Pyatt will be filling in as play-by-play, and Howie Shapiro hopefully will be back. Howie Shapiro hopefully actually will be back by Tuesday, because that's when the volleyball team will open section play. Last week, the Cardinals wrapped up the regular season with a trip to Totino Grace. For the Cardinals, it was a chance to see how much they've improved throughout the season and maybe improve their seeding position. They were swept by the Eagles earlier in the year, and only one of those sets was even close. This time, it was much tighter start to finish. Totino get a fast start in the first set, scoring the first 7 points, but the Cardinals battle back. Great net play on this point. First by Fracke on the putback, then watch the left side of your screen. Left, perfect position on defense by Ellie Hinsey. Gets the stuff block. Cardinals comeback continues. Coon Rapids got back within 3. But Totino Grace controls the first set pretty easily. Liz Puliak gets the kill. They win 25-13. Cardinals playing much better in the second, mostly because they didn't give up the big lead early. Hinsey able to get on a roll from the service line, one of her 3 aces on the service as the Coon Rapids establishes the lead. And they're able to play with that lead well. A bit of a scramble on this point, but they find a way to make it work. Paige Fosselin getting up to poke it to the floor, helped the Cardinals even the match at 25-18. Third set was the closest start to finish, and it featured a number of longer volleys. Unfortunately for Coon Rapids, Totino Grace had the staying power on too many of those long points. Riley Rios able to get the second attack to work on that one. Eagles win 25-20. Coon Rapids trying to force a 5th and final, and they were scrappy, keeping the 4th set close. They returned in the middle attack by Allison Walker, but Totino able to recover. Set up for Marley Webb on the left side. She gets the kill. Eagles able to secure a 3-1 victory with a 25-19 win in the 4th. And still, it's a loss in 4, but for the Cardinals, it does show a pretty serious amount of improvement they have made over the course of this season. Again, as I mentioned, the first time they were swept by the Eagles, and all 3 of them were pretty lopsided. I believe once they scored 11 and once they only scored 9. In this one, their lowest score was 17 or 18. So they were on top of it, and they were playing with them all the way to the finish. And that bodes well for how the Cardinals may do in the section tournament. How that will play out, that's a big question. A huge monster in front of them. The Cardinals will start against number 7 Wayzata on Tuesday at Wayzata High School. But should they advance, they would have to face number 2 seed Maple Grove in that quarterfinal round. The other play-in games feature Buffalo and Orono, Park Center and Robbinsdale. The number 4 and 5 seeds go to Osseo and Rogers. Chample Park, the number 1 overall seed. Maple Grove, the number 2. St. Michael Albertville secures the number 3 spot. So again, the Cardinals in the first round are playing at Wayzata High School at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. You have to come out to see it in person because we can't show it due to MSHSL rules regarding tournament play, but we will get that replay for you here on Tuesday night at midnight. And should the Cardinals be able to pull off the upset over the Trojans, we would be there at Maple Grove on Thursday as well. Hope you will join us for both. Swimming and diving team now has a couple of weeks off to get ready for the section championships, and they're going to be going to the pool with a little bit of extra confidence. Last week, the Cardinals competed in the Northwest Suburban Tournament. They changed the format a few years ago when the conference expanded to 13 teams. Now, rather than having one giant tournament, it's separated into a series of dual meets to determine final conference standings. Cardinals were in a tri-meet to determine the final 3 spots in the Northwest Suburban. Cardinals have made great strides throughout the season, and this was their chance to show it going up against Park Center in Iredale. Cardinals make a splash right away. The 200 medley relay team of Emma Schmidt, Megan Schultz, Ella Hacker, and Jadelyn Michalowski set the pace start to finish, with Michalowski getting to the finish with a winning time of 2 minutes, 3.36 seconds. And their depth factored in too. Their B relay team took 4th place. Cardinals know they can count on their top swimmers to get points, and that's what they did in this one. Tamala King competing in the 200 free. She runs away with the win in this event, finishing in 2:10.57, almost 5 seconds ahead of second place. But again, it's the depth that makes the difference. Cardinals got a big contributions all down the line in the conference tournament. 8th grader Emma Schmidt with a great race in the 200 IM. She's able to get to the wall in second place in 2 minutes, 34.95. Schultz won the event, and the 1-2 finish really pushed the Cardinals' lead. Moving on to diving, junior captain Alyssa Micheski, the solid night off the board. That inward dive in the pike position helped her to a second-place finish with a score of 143.95. A number of strong finishes, 8 first-place finishes in all for the Cardinals. Ella Hacker had a pair in the 100 fly and the 100 back. Her best time in both of those events, peaking at the right time. No surprise to see Megan Schultz getting a couple of first-place finishes. We talked about it in the 100 or the 200 IM. Also in the 100 breast, her first-place time of 1 minute 12.46 seconds. The Cardinals won all 3 relays, and that is fantastic. Both 400 and 200 also taking first place. A second-place finish for Tamala King in the 500 free. But again, it's that depth when they're getting those second swimmers in with points. Does such great things. And don't forget, I mentioned a lot of names during that tournament. Only one is an upperclassman, and she's a junior. The rest are 8th graders, 9th graders, and 1 sophomore. So a lot of years ahead for this program, and very, very exciting. Again, they have some time off. The Section 7 AA championships will start a week from Thursday on the 9th, or 2 weeks from Thursday on the 9th of November, and then the state championships will be a week behind that. And of course, by the time they get to that point, we will have wrapped up the fall season here on Sportsnight, and we'll keep your drama and suspense going to hold you over into the winter season before we can really wrap up the final for the swim team. But it's been an exciting season, and it's only looking to get better with that much young talent. The cross-country team did have one event this week. It was the JK 5K. Coach Denny Green said it was more of a practice round. He wanted the guys and gals to go out there and work on some specific things. The real important meet comes up on Thursday. They're at Anoka for the Section 5 AA championships. We'll have results for you next week on Sports Night, and hopefully be talking about some Cardinals headed for the state championships at St. Olaf next Thursday. Here's what we've got going on. Playoff volleyball on Tuesday. Hopefully more playoff volleyball on Thursday, and then playoff football on Saturday. Cardinals waiting to find out who they face. It'll be St. Francis or Duluth East. Get to the stadium early, get your seat. 3 o'clock game on Saturday, and then we'll have the replay for you here at 8. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including my camera operator, Tom Cornell, I'm Joe Young, saying goodnight.